It is November 25th, 2017. My last video was the summer of 2016. This is insane. I've been gone since how long? I have no idea. But I decided I'd come out with a bang and show you guys what I have now and what I've occupied my time with. So, introducing my Audi TT. Yes, it's an Audi. It's a Audi TT Mark 1 2001. So this car, a few specs on it is it came out in 2001. It came out in 1998 or 99. I'm gonna sound like a really stupid car enthusiast for this, but it came out in 1999, I believe, and became a really iconic car for Audi. Audi was known as a car company that would be a discount BMW, but this car is such an iconic car because it uses the 1.8T engine, which gives it 180 horsepower, which gives it 100 horsepower, or 180 horsepower. Sadly, my car is a front-wheel drive, not the Quattro version. The Quattro was the most iconic, but if we see here, the hood looks great. I put a dash cam in this thing. If you guys see, it's a dash cam. I was gonna put a light up Audi logo right here, but I thought that would be way too ricey. These are the stock headlights, but I gotta repolish these because they've got scratches on them. Basically, I'm showing you guys this car because I want you guys to see how it looks bone stock, and I'm gonna be doing a series of modifications in the next 2 months, I believe, and it's gonna be great. Just got inspected in Texas. If you guys don't know, I live in Texas. These are the lights. They've got a little bit of touch-up paint on them, but I gotta sand that down pretty soon. The lights are pretty well kept. There used to be tinting on this car. The guy that originally had this car, like, riced it up and molested the car. Like, he seriously messed it up. So there used to be tinting all on these windows, and well, it looks like this window hasn't closed completely. The thing about the Audi TT is the windows go up and down. Now, whenever you open the door, the windows always go down, and when you close it, the windows are supposed to go up, but we just had a malfunction on video shoot day. But let me show you the rest of the exterior before I get there. Right here is a scratch. A really bad scratch, and it used to be a gigantic bump, but I pulled out most of it. Now there's missing paint, so I'm gonna go take this over to the body shop as well as the bumper, but I'm probably not gonna do them at the same time. These are aftermarket taillights. My stocks are in my garage, and one of them is broken, actually. I put backup sensors on this thing. They actually look flush with the whole car. These are not the stock wheels. I actually got these from an A6, and if you look in here, I put spacers in there because it's an 18-inch wheel, I believe. And an 18-inch wheel, 18-inch wheels don't fit a Audi TT. They actually need 17-inch wheels. So I actually put spacers in there to match the offset of an A6. So they now actually fit, and according to most people, it makes the car look wider. Stock antenna. Well, here's the gas pipe, or the gas tank release. Basically, there's a button inside there where you just press it and then it opens. Actually, if I opened up the trunk, there's if you rip off one of the panels, there's an emergency gas release that you can pull if your electric one doesn't work. If you look right here, there's been paint that's been scuffed up, but I think I'm just gonna hit it with a thing of 1,000 grit and maybe 3,000 grit and call it a day. My fence fell down and gave me a bunch of these scuff marks, so I'm gonna go take those off one day. There's a dent right here on this car. Basically, I'm just showing you how much character it really has. Not to mention, it has a convertible top, just FYI. And everything else has been covered on the exterior. Now, if I opened up the hood of the car, I'll be able to show you what the engine looks completely bone stock. Alright, so basically, this is what it looks like bone stock. I am refusing to put in a cold air intake because cold air intakes really don't do anything to a turbocharged car. This is the stock engine. It's not going to be for long. There's actually a engine sitting inside my in my garage right now that I just rebuilt. It's attached to its transmission. I just replaced its clutch. But the engine, I have no idea how good of shape it's in. If I did do modifications, they were this pipe right here. This used to be a plastic pipe, but we switched out a variety of pipes that were made out of plastic for metal, because Audi and Volkswagen are infamous for putting plastic parts everywhere and them breaking. So if you ever get an Audi TT, get these, because these are definitely going to help you. These definitely do help you a lot. And you're not going to have to spend money on parts that will break constantly. So instead, just get the aluminum piece instead. If we look back here, the person that originally had this car put a blow-off valve on this, but I have no idea how good or bad this blow-off valve is. If this roll bar wasn't is this a good sight picture? If the roll bar wasn't blocking it, I'd be able to show you better. It's adjustable in a way. There's a problem with the transmission in this car. It actually grinds when you put it into second gear. You can press down the clutch all you want, but it grinds when you put it into second gear. Either from third to second when you downshift, or from first to second when you upshift. So I'm replacing the engine transmission due to that, and I'm pretty sure there's coke in the engine. So the mods that I'm thinking of doing are mostly going to be in the engine bay. So what I'm going to be doing is the turbo, which is back there somewhere, but it's like hidden back there. I'm going to be putting a Ko3 inside there. I'm also going to be putting a bigger downpipe in there. I'm trying to save up for a front mount intercooler in there, as well as attaching a boost gauge to the interior of the car. Another thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing the injectors and putting 440cc's in. I'm also going to be putting the 2.0 coil packs on it, which is not going to give it horsepower, it's just going to give it better efficiency. So therefore, it would be capable of creating more horsepower. I'm also going to be tuning the car. I may put my own tune on it. I may just get a chip tune, or get it tuned by APR or ESC. So yeah, so we're gonna lower this. Now when we look in the interior of the car, it's very minimalistic, and it's very, well, minimalistic. So when I lock the car, it actually makes a beeping noise. When I unlock the car, it only unlocks this side. Unlock it twice, and the other side unlocks. So, I just polished these door panels. They look nice and shiny and great. Here's a This is for holding things like, well, I use it to hold my receipts, but I should probably clean this out because it just shows me where I paid for gas. There's actually 2 speakers in this door, one on the bottom, one on the top, or I think that's what it was. I don't think that's true. I think there's just 1 speaker. The speakers are Bose speakers, so don't think about replacing your speakers with $5 speakers, because that's what the original owner did, and I really didn't like it. Hop into the interior. We got black leather seats. I just cleaned these, and I just polished these, but they still look like crap. I'm gonna go get these seats redone. There's a huge crack right here that I need to take out. I'm definitely gonna get these seats redone, and I might think about going black here and this brown interior in the middle. Up here is ripped, so I might get, but I'm gonna try to get that done as soon as possible. So, when we step in the car, this is my view. I see the beautiful Audi logo with its really nice circular shape, as well as the 4 rings. Now if you go up here, we have our HIM box, which is my Bluetooth. This is the only real interior modification that I've done. Most of it's just been interior restoration. So I'm also going to be telling you guys what it was missing. So, it did not have this. Right here is a, is for plugging in the HIM box, which is my Bluetooth, obviously. But this was not originally with the car. We actually drilled a hole here, and it's just a small, subtle modification that I did to the car that really doesn't do anything, that really doesn't harm or help the car. Well, it actually does help the car a lot, because this HIM box gives me Bluetooth, and this Bluetooth is just, you know, well, it's a cool feature that didn't come with the car originally. This wire hanging down here is supposed to be my backup sensor, but it came with really cheap adhesive, so I'm just gonna stick 3M on it and put it right here because it fits. This is not the radio that the car came with when I bought it. It actually came with an aftermarket stereo with 7-inch screen on it, which I absolutely hated, because that meant that the TT logo couldn't come down, which really bugs the heck out of me because I'm OCD. Basically, the radio is off, but to turn it on, all you have to do is press this button, and then it plays music. I'm not going to keep it on because copyright laws. Here's a backup camera that I have. I have no idea where to attach it, and it's just kind of laying there. So I just use my eyes. You have this mirror. I'm probably going to read you the mirror. There's me. Hi. Yep. So, this has my sight vision, but I'm probably going to redo the mirror because there are little pieces right here that I really don't like, and I think it looks really dirty. There were scratches on this shift knob, so what I did was I unscrewed the shift knob and popped this off, and I actually got this to get really, really shiny. So, the steering wheel used to be a black steering wheel. In fact, this whole car used to have a black interior, and the original car owner thought it was great to put red tape over everything. Actually, what he did was he let this be black. This was not originally here. This is the mirror adjustments, and the mirror adjustment always breaks on these cars. So it took me forever to find a good mirror adjustment. This used to be red, and this used to be black, but I switched out the panel entirely, and I just made it look great. The steering wheel used to be black, and same thing with that side. The handle used to be red, but this used to be black. These used to be red, but the stock ones were black, but he put red tape all over it. The gear knob used to be black, but we switched out the whole assembly of the gear shift. So, because the car, when you tried to put it in reverse, it would go into first instead. So that was a problem. This e-brake used to be black, and we just switched it out because of the aesthetic. This lid doesn't close, but I'm gonna buy a new one from the guy that sells me my parts. Basically, it doesn't close, so I might put Velcro on it right here, or I might just buy a new one. Back here is a subwoofer, actually. Right here is my subwoofer. It's a 12-inch, it's a 14-inch subwoofer made by Bose. Right here is another thing that I regret putting in my car, which is, it's like a cup holder, right? And it charges your phone, but it's actually connected to the car entirely, so I can't really remove it if I wanted to. So that just leaves me with one cup holder, but Germany's not really known for their interior design. They're mostly known for their car performance. So they don't really get cup holders. They don't really like the concept of a cup holder. This car does have heated seats. If you look here, you can just twist this dial, and it'll actually turn on your heated seats. These dials, actually, let me turn this car on, but not start it yet. So, according to the car, my window is up. But, I mean, it believes what it wants because it's controlled by a computer. This is Quattro on it. That's false advertising. I just got this thing because it fit in my car and it worked. But it's just a glove box. You can turn on and off the airbag. It's got all my insurance papers in there. Under here is a little compartment thing that you can put, I don't know, maybe some hand lotion or something there. Another thing is, if you open up this, it's a small little compartment that you can put, like, your cell phone. You can put your cell phone in there, or you can, but this is your gas cap. This is not a button. It's a button for something. I think it was the button for the remote release for this hood. But we don't have it in this car, so they just black it out and assume we all don't know what it is. And this is our trunk release. Yes, this is a manual gearbox, by the way. It's not a mock of a manual gearbox. If I move this forward, if I can, give me a sec. Alright, so I move this forward. There is a box right here, right here, and that is extra storage. But if you, but there's a key right there. If you untwist it with your key, let me see if I can. So if I get the key, I can unlock it, and that is my emergency trunk release. I don't think this is the one with the medic box. The medic box, I think, is in the other side. Yeah, it's on the other side. But let's also not forget that there is a back speaker here, and there's a back speaker on the other side. Now, if I step out of the car, I'll be able to show you. Now, this back here is the other compartment. Also has a speaker. Here's the compartment. You just twist it, open it, and there is a medic bag. So if you're in an accident, you can just use the medic bag. Here's the CD player for the car. It doesn't work. We didn't plan on making it work, because who uses CDs? But, actually, these panels were both broken on this car, and we actually had to fix them. This whole car was covered in cough syrup. This whole car was covered with baby bottles full of cough syrup and alcohol. I found a condom under my seat when I first got it. I found a condom under the seat. I also, well, let's kind of sit down and talk about this. So I actually found a condom under my seat when I first got the car. I also found bottles of cough syrup. So if you guys listen to rap music, it's codeine. So lean. This guy was drinking lean. It wasn't my neighbor. It was the guy he sold it to, and he repoed it back. But he had a bunch of lean in the car, and in this ashtray, there was just loads and loads of cigarette butts. So there was buttloads of cigarette butts. Ha ha ha. And it was just really disgusting. This was ripped off of the car, so I had to get a new one, and this one was barely hanging on the car. So I had to salvage it as much as possible. I mean, what else was wrong with this car? I mean, this car was just all junked up. The bumper wasn't original, so we had to go buy an original bumper. Do you know how hard it is to get an original bumper? An original bumper costs tons of money. Like, people will pay about $500 for an original bumper for an Audi TT. That, like, the Audi TT, like, in its old condition, would cost us around $2,000 to buy. Instead, we replaced it with, we actually traded it with a 2009 Ford Taurus that had a bad computer, and the Ford dealer kept on screwing us over and telling us that it was the catalytic converter, it was the manifold gasket, or the blah 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 blah, and they never told us the truth, so they took money out of our hands. I mean, my dad knew that it was the computer, but they kept on saying that it was something different. So, yeah. We decided we would trade it because our neighbor had a better experience with the Ford guys. Eventually, the Ford guys actually my neighbor went up to them and said, "Quit your bullshit and start getting your shit together." And they actually gave him a good computer, and the car worked fine until he crashed it into a mailbox. Other than that, this car is almost a perfect car for me. This is my first car. This is my first car. This is probably insane to hear, but this is my first car, and it's got 180 horsepower. I'm modding the car. Basically, I'm doing my best to actually get a car that is up and running. And honestly, parents, instead of buying your kids an old car that's in perfect condition, or buying a new car for your kid, buy them a fixer-upper so they can actually learn how cars work. Lots of kids these days don't even know how to change their tires, and it's really disgusting. And not only that, buy your kid a freaking manual gearbox, because if you want a kid that doesn't text and drive, you need a manual gearbox. Get a manual gearbox. I'm serious. If you want your kids to stop texting and driving, you need to get a manual gearbox. Or you need to take away their phones when they drive. But where's the fun in that? Because when they reach their destination, they're just going to be bored out of their minds. And then they're just going to think of conspiracy theories, and then they're going to turn into your Uncle Larry that always thinks that the moon landing was faked. But let's start this thing up, because I've got to show you guys some problems with this car that I am going to fix immediately after winter break. As always, you gotta press in the clutch before you turn on the car. You hear that squeak noise? That is a bearing. That is a bearing for the clutch, actually. Oh, and this thing actually started recording. So, basically, I would like to say that this car is a perfect car for me, except for one thing. The fuel gauge doesn't work. and it's running cold right now, so it's probably gonna shake all over the place. But if I rev this car, I'm only going up to 2,000 RPM because I don't want to kill the car. Actually, it sounds fine. The display is pixelated, so we're actually replacing the display entirely. Also, the climate control needs to be more efficient because, like, Audi was clearly not thinking when they made this. Because what they did was they decided, hey, if you click it once, it goes up once, instead of saying, hey, let's turn it all the way over if they want it less or more. That being said, everything is all electronic, which means you can adjust it to whatever you want with an electronic screen. But usually I just keep it on auto. It's got like economy mode and all that type of stuff. But yeah. Also, the check engine light is on. The check engine light is on because the computer was wiped, but still runs for some reason. Also, these lights are finicky but really cool. Like, if I open up the doors, the lights turn on. They'll close. But sometimes this doesn't work, and it really sucks because it doesn't work. So you'll be in your car at night, and you'll be wondering why the lights aren't on. But I just wish this actually was more efficient, and I just want this to work better. I mean, this is kind of stupid, but if you want to turn it on, you just pull it out, and it turns off. Also, the ESP is here. By the way, don't press these lights too hard, or else they'll go inward. Then you have to take out the radio, put these back in, and then you'll be fine. So, this is my car, completely bone stock. I have nothing else to. Oh wait, yeah. So if you actually wanted to adjust the temp, if you actually wanted to close your vents, all you have to do is twist these vents instead of actually, I don't know, pressing a gauge right here. So I think that's actually kind of neat. Some people think it's really stupid, but I just like it a lot. So this is my car, completely bone stock. I am going to modify this car with tasteful modifications, like a front mount intercooler, a bigger turbocharger, and possibly buying a VR6. Yeah. So anyway, I have nothing else to show you guys. I'm gonna go through my modification list in a different video, and then eventually I'm just gonna show you guys me modding my car. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll see you guys in a new episode. Bye.